Derby County last night announced the signing of a new deal for Dajaune Brown. The academy product, who has been with Derby County for a considerable period of time, has recently signed a brand new contract to take him through to the summer of 2027. Now, obviously, we've seen over the course of the last 12 months or so, Dajaune Brown has just gone from strength to strength within not only the under-18s, but then moving into the 21s, even making his first team debut. He then went on loan out to Gateshead, where I think he had an incredible period, and I think it was a really good experience for him to find his feet in men's football. And now, obviously, with Derby County's striker department, he is firmly within that department after being on the bench for every single game this season or being involved in the starting lineup as for the game with Chesterfield. So it's going to be interesting to see how the future holds for Dajaune Brown at Derby County. Obviously, there's a lot of things still to discuss and still to talk about his future and about what the plans are between not only Derby County and Paul Warren for Dajaune Brown, but what those plans could be for alternative clubs. Now, should we take a look at the statement which Derby County put out? So here we have it then. Here is confirmation of Dajaune Brown's new deal. In this video, we're going to be discussing everything about Dajaune Brown and what I think could happen in the future, especially across the course of the next few months as we head towards the January transfer window, and what I think really needs to happen for Dajaune Brown to stabilise himself as part of the Derby County furniture, part of the first team, and to take himself forward in his career. Shall we take a look at what has been said on the Derby County website? So, as stated in the highlighted paragraph, he signed his first professional terms last summer. I believe they took him through till 2026. He's now penned a new deal, which gives him an extra year on his contract, which is obviously really, really important. He's obviously made 8 senior appearances since his debut against Blackpool. He's obviously had an impressive spell at Gateshead, where he scored 10 goals in 22 appearances in all competitions. Obviously, a ton of assists as well. He scored a hat-trick in the quarterfinals of the FA Trophy and even scored the winning penalty against Solihull Moors at Wembley, and was part of the team, and I believe he got a goal and an assist in that game, and he was named Derby Scorer of the Year 23-24. So it's going to be interesting to see how this progresses for Dajaune Brown. I think he's got an excellent opportunity at Derby County this season, and shall we get into why I think that is? So obviously, Derby County striker department isn't necessarily blessed with a ton of talent, and I think this is what opens the door for Dajaune Brown. You look at the likes of Jerry Yates, who's had a very, very impressive start to his time at Derby County. Obviously, he will be heading back to Swansea at the end of this season. You then look at who is behind Jerry Yates, and you have James Collins, Dajaune Brown, Connor Washington, and then probably you have to then go down to the 21s and 18s to look at the likes of Lennon Wilden to take that position. Now, for me, I think Dajaune Brown has a perfect opportunity here to find himself an opportunity at first team football at the club. I think obviously due to the nature of squad registration, he sort of gets a bypass because of his age, which is obviously important for Derby County. Homegrown, under 21, has the opportunity to play without being registered. Now, I think that's partially the reason why we didn't send him out on loan this summer, because we wouldn't have been able to bring someone in without letting go of, I think, another player as well, maybe even 2 other players. So for me, I think there's an excellent opportunity here for Dajaune Brown. Now, I was listening to his interview with Owen Bradley after the announcement of his contract, and that's something which he's aiming to do, and I do think it is certainly possible for Daj to get himself into that first team picture. Now, realistically, he's already in the picture, but making himself a name on the team sheet for the starting 11 is what he needs to do next. And I think we've seen over the course, in my opinion, of the last 12 months, Dajaune Brown go from being sort of a strong physical hold-up striker to a striker that offers more than just hold-up play. I think we saw at Gateshead his ability to get in behind, his ability to beat a man and take a shot from the edge of the box, or beat a man and get into the box. We've obviously seen his ability at one-touch passing and things like that. And if you look at some of the goals he was involved in for Gateshead, it's really important to see that at a level which is much lower than what we're at now, he was performing to such a high standard. Now, obviously, as you go through the levels, it's going to get more difficult for him, but I think there is a reason why Derby County didn't sort of go all out to get a striker. And I know people at Derby will say, well, we did go all out, we did want a striker, but realistically, if we really wanted a striker, I think Daje would have gone out on loan. I think Washington would have gone out as well to open up that door, and that didn't happen. So for me, I think he's got himself a perfect opportunity. What are we on now? We're on the 20th of September. The window obviously doesn't open until the 1st of January. There's a ton of games until then. And obviously, you don't want injuries to happen. We don't want that, obviously. But he just needs a sniff, in my opinion. He just needs a sniff of that first team football and some proper minutes in the Championship. And I mean in like proper minutes. I'm not talking like coming on in the 85th minute. I'm talking like coming on after 60, 65 minutes, starting a game, coming off the bench at half time, things like that. These are the things I'm talking about. And this is one of the reasons why I wish we had a longer cup run, because it would give Daje the opportunity to play more football and prove what he can do. Because obviously what we're going to see over the course of the next few weeks and months is obviously Paul Warne doing tried and tested, tried and trusted, because obviously we're trying to stay in the division, and I think that is the main aim for this season. I think anybody who looks otherwise is sort of a bit off it. The main aim is staying up. Once we hit that 50-point mark, in my opinion, then we can look forward. Then we can look at other things. Obviously right now I think we're sitting on 9 points after 5 games, which I think is a really good start for us. I'm very impressed with it, absolutely. I think Paul Warne and his coaching staff have done an excellent job since Blackburn. I'm not going to say that every performance has been amazing, but we've been making slow, steady progress, and that is what we need to see, and it's what I wanted to see post Blackburn. And I think having a Dajaune Brown in and around it opens the door to continue slow, steady progress, because bringing in Dajaune Brown, who I think has just turned 19. Let me just check on here. I think is he 19? I don't think it says actually. But obviously, we look at someone like a Dajaune Brown, you look at someone like a Niall McAndrew, you look at a Cruz Allen, a Kai Robinson, a Dan Cox, all these players who are going to be wanting to find themselves first team positions over the course of the next 3 or 4 years. If not first team positions, they're going to want to find loan moves and things like that. And I think Dajaune Brown's done his duty on loan. I did personally believe he should have gone out on loan in the summer. But now he's here. We're through the transfer window. He's just signed a new deal. I think it's the perfect opportunity for Dajaune Brown to break into the first team. I think realistically, and I know this is going to sound stupid, and I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me, but I would have started him versus Blackburn. I would have started him, obviously he started versus Chesterfield, I would have started him versus Middlesbrough, and I would have started him in, well, Watford game, Jerry Yates was back, but I would have started him those first 3 games of the season. I think it was a perfect opportunity to give Dajaune Brown the opportunity to prove himself and show what he's capable of. But obviously, Paul Warne in that first game went with Caden Jackson through the middle. In the cup game, obviously Dajaune Brown did play, and then in the Middlesbrough game, James Collins played up front. But for me, I would have given Daje that opportunity. I think, especially after the performance he put in versus Chesterfield, I thought he was really good that night. I'd have started him versus Middlesbrough. But we got the result versus Middlesbrough, we got the result versus Chesterfield. So it's one of those. He'll be in and around it this season, I believe. And I think, for me, if he's not made 15 league appearances, probably 5, maybe 600 minutes by January. Let me just figure out what that is. So if we go 500 divided by 15, yeah, so realistically I want him to play 30 minutes in 15 games. That's what I want to see. Obviously that's up to Paul Warne, it's up to Richie Barker, but realistically he needs to be getting minutes, and that's the only way he's going to develop. So obviously, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Let me know what you think the plan is for Dajaune Brown going forward. There's obviously going to be some mega movements for him over the course of the next few weeks and months. So let me know your thoughts down below, and let's see what happens with Dajaune Brown. Find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.